on ESPN 3 and the Watch ESPN app. For the Tucson Memorial, my name is Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink. Here he is, Mondo Ortiz, serving in the men's finals against Sean Lenning at the race 4-8 stop number 2 at 0-0. Referee is Luis Cordova. Best 2 out of 3 to 15. Win by 2. Tiebreaker also to 15 if we need it. And there's that first serve of the finals.
You saw that interview with Mondo Ortiz just this morning. Mondo saying this is just the beginning for him. He's not yet won a race title. He was in the finals of the Players' Championship. These two played the match of the year in the finals in Salt Lake City. Sean Lenning winning that 15-12 in the tiebreaker. Sensational. Sean already showing that he's got that sensational movement, and when he gets to the ball, Dave, he does something with it.
Oh, wow, that ball just took off.
I don't know how Mondo returned it, and then Sean hits a really difficult kill shot.
And I don't know how Mondo got almost to that kill shot.
2-0.
I saw Sean right before he walked in the court during that interview with Mondo, and Sean said to me, "Who's reffing?" And I said,
3-0.
Luis Cordova, and he goes, "Woohoo, yes."
Short.
And I thought, wow, hearing Sean say that, that's
Second
probably
serve.
the wrong type of motivation for the Mondo camp. There's
Right
that beautiful left from Mondo Ortiz.
Dave, do you even serve Mondo's left, seeing what he's done here this
3.
week?
I don't think so.
Short.
I wouldn't.
I've seen Mondo hit 3 dozen kill shots
Second
off
serve.
the bounce with his left hand on the return of serve in this tournament.
Hold it, hold it.
I don't like that stoppage there.
0 serves
Now,
3.
some players might like it. I just don't personally. As a player, I don't like it.
Short. Second serve. That out.
Not a great second serve there, but Sean Lenning catches the crack.
3-0. Short. Second serve. Point.
Dave, you remember in Salt Lake City,
4-0.
Mondo Ortiz winning game 1 15-3 before losing that match. Now it's Sean Lenning off to a blazing start.
And he's going to get more points here.
He appeals the serve. I called it good. They both saw it good. Point. Five serve 0. Short. Second serve. That
It
out.
was Sean Lenning finishing 3rd last week at the U.S. Open. Mondo Ortiz finishing 8th. Both guys
0
losing
serves 5.
to Paul Brady. Mondo in the quarterfinals, Sean in the semifinals.
Big setup there for Mondo Ortiz, and Sean still gets to it.
Hold it, hold it.
And Dave, how hard is that as a player? Mondo hit what would have been a rally ender right here, and Sean tracks it down and does something with it, puts Mondo in a tough spot to end that rally.
Yeah,
0
that is
serves
tough.
5.
It's tough for a few reasons. Because now you're thinking to yourself, I have to be perfect, even more perfect, and it puts too much pressure on you sometimes. Dave, this hasn't been a shootout, but it's been more of a get fest. Wow. Look how Mondo has that little giddy up in his step before he just smacks that ball.
But
as a kill
Sean's all
shot.
over every shot Mondo's hitting. Even this big setup
1
here,
serve
Sean
5.
runs right to the right spot. Look at this.
Like how he sets up. It's so beautiful, isn't it? He just floats over there.
Point.
Fred Lewis this morning said to me that Mondo Ortiz has the prettiest,
2 serves 5.
most perfect flow off the back wall with his feet. The best feet in handball.
Hold it.
Mondo should have put that away.
Replay.
Playing some good handball here these last few rallies. 2 straight points and should have been a third.
2 serves 5.
Dave, did you catch the score of that men's A final?
I did not.
It's not reported, and that was with Katrina Casey going for the A State Championship in Arizona.
Hold it, hold it. He was right behind you, couldn't see it.
And Dave, these players wanted this referee, and already 3 questionable hinder calls.
You can hear the crowd really chippy out there in the gallery, slamming the back glass. That's allowed, Ireland.
2 serves 5.
Here on the tour, only at this
I
location.
think that is a hinder, though, a screen.
I think what Sean's saying is you can't bank up behind me and then call a screen, or else how is that fair?
Mondo looks really good right now, Dave. He withstood that initial attack from Sean Lenning, and now he's on his own attack.
3 serves 5. Point.
4 straight and counting for Mondo Ortiz.
4 serves 5. Short. Second serve. Point.
And Mondo using all the walls and the floor there to hit this ace. Look at this, Dave. 1,
5 serves
2,
5.
3, 4. If you count the bounce, 5.
And I do.
Okay. So you talk about how complicated this game is. Mondo just on fire here.
Point.
No timeout here?
Six serves 5. Point. Timeout. 7, 5.
I
1
mean,
minute.
and rightly so, right, Dave? I mean, you're almost forced. Look at Sean. He's almost becoming flat because of what Mondo's doing. Watch how
Yeah.
Mondo works his feet here. Lets the ball drop. It's just so beautiful, Dave. It really is, especially in slow motion. He goes over the top, keeps that ball down. And Mondo is doing exactly what he wanted to do when he stepped into the court earlier. A little bit of a slow start, but the finish is what counts. And right now, Mondo is finishing.
Yeah, he's finishing virtually every opportunity he's had, particularly in these last 7 points. It was Sean Lenning early who looked like he might run away with this first game, but hasn't been the case here. Mondo Ortiz now threatening to run away.
You're watching the men's finals, and look at this great picture right here of Sean Lenning and Mondo Ortiz not talking to each other, just sitting next to each other. Not a lot of pro sports are like this. And I think that one of the special things about handball in general is that you're really not playing your opponent, you're sort of playing yourself. Because the opponent gives you a ball to hit, and you need to, as yourself, execute it. And that for a brief moment there, you're actually playing against somebody, and then you are playing against that ball.
My time in.
And sometimes you see that
7
players
serves
don't
5.
necessarily like each other off the court, but they share this sort of common interest. They're both tired.
Point.
And you saw both of those guys look like they were just trying to gather their thoughts. And another quick point now for Mondo Ortiz,
8 serves
8-5
5
here in game number 1. And
Point.
now make it 9-5, and that's just a blistering serve from Mondo
Slide on
Ortiz.
the floor. You see a slide? Neither side, Sean. Can you see your gloves,
I
Mondo?
thought the ball hit Sean as it left right there on the leg, and then Sean points up and says the ball's wet.
I
Well,
thought it did slide on the floor just barely.
But Sean turned
9-5.
and to the ref and said it was wet, but it's wet because he hit himself
Yeah.
with the ball. I don't think the ball can get wet on the floor when it's moving
No.
that fast.
Point.
And another point now. How many is that in a row? 10, 9 straight?
10 straight
10 serves 5.
and counting.
Short.
Oh my
slide.
gosh, that is just a laser. See, now Sean's upset here because that's the exact same spot that other ball slid at.
Change your gloves. 2 minutes.
But if it's wet, and see now
Gloves are good.
Mondo walks over and says it's not wet over here.
Mondo showing off his Owen gloves, Dave.
Mondo is now
Sponsored by
yeah.
Owen Gloves and the LAAC.
Not sure how these sponsorships work with the players, but I know Mondo was sponsored previously, and now maybe that sponsorship is over with and he's got a new one. But the LAAC has been forever. Just the Owen Gloves is a brand new sponsor here, and he said he's feeling very comfortable on the court. And some of that new verve that he has comes from the Owen glove that he's wearing. There's our photographer peeping around the corner there live on the camera, taking a picture of Sean Lenning. Photographer, you know, they don't get a lot of credit, but sometimes as a player, when you're not winning and you have somebody sticking a camera in your face, capturing that moment, you think to yourself, what do you think you're capturing right now? I'm not winning. You don't want to put your camera in my face. It's a frustrating experience, I think.
It must be frustrating here for Mondo, who's scored 10 straight, and now he's got towel duty.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see, but players are wiping down the court.
You saw a very pro Sean Lenning crowd last night. Still the same crowd, Dave, but everyone just loves Mondo so much that you're not going to see that kind of single-minded enthusiasm for just Sean Lenning here today.
Right.
One short. So it's second serve. It slid, but it was short, but it slid. No, it's a short. It was short. Well, yeah, I let him have a glove change because it was wet. It's second serve, Mondo.
That's right. The referee is right here, so I don't know what Mondo's.
Yeah.
Now Mondo's becoming chippy
I
here.
let him have a glove change because the ball
Well, I
was
don't think
sliding.
Mondo is aware of the rule here. It doesn't give you a first serve
Let's
just
go
because he
second
took a
serve.
glove change. You can call for a glove change or a timeout before a second serve is called. I think if you're Sean Lenning, this is exactly what you want, taking Mondo out of his rhythm.
Sean is explaining the situation in a very nice, calm, gentlemanly,
Your ball
like,
had been short.
referee is correct
Your
here.
serve was short. Your serve was short. Yeah, so it doesn't slide.
Because the referee's saying, hey, it's wet here, and we're going to make sure that everything is cleaned up. But you can do that at any time. You can do that during a short serve, a hinder, a side
All right,
out.
let's go. Second serve.
Mondo, just because Mondo's never heard of it before doesn't mean the rule exists. There's probably a lot of rules that we have never heard before. By we, I mean everybody but me. I said that for John Bike.
And Dave, Mondo should have won that point twice. Sean overhitting that return a serve and then gave Mondo another opportunity.
5 serves 10.
And Dave, the way these matches work, if you don't take advantage of an opportunity, it'll probably cost you 4 or 5 points. Because now Sean Lenning serving just scored 1 point with
10.
2 swings.
Short.
And Mondo Ortiz could have very easily been up 11-5 and still serving. Make that 7-10 now.
Wow.
And this is how quickly things can change.
7 serves 10. Point.
Wow, now 8-10 here.
All because of that
8 serves
3-minute timeout and the glove change. And
Dave, you played on this court when the crowd was in favor of the person that you were playing against.
yeah, yes.
And they went up and they started banging the back glass. How does that affect you as a player when you hear that?
Yeah, it's frustrating. Takes me out of my game.
How frustrating is it for Sean Lenning to know that Mondo was standing next to him with the ball in his hand and
9
he walked
serves
all
10.
the way back and then threw it to him?
Not a good serve. Mondo should have done more there.
Hold it.
Ooh, Sean just got a gift. That banging on the back glass is not because they agree with the referee. Just look at Mondo.
9 serves 10.
But this is what happens when you apply yourself. It has to be called a hinder, right, Dave?
Yeah, that's a hinder. I
Yeah.
don't know what other argument could be made.
Now it's tied at 10 after Mondo was just completely on fire. Mondo took himself out of this game by arguing with the ref for no apparent reason.
Well,
It's not even a
10
close
serves 10.
conversation.
Well, he didn't understand the rule.
But how could you not realize that the referee can call a 2-minute glove change anywhere? Yeah, so that's definitely been confirmed by Mondo. It's actually, that is a call that is allowed by the referee. If he sees the court is wet at any time out of player safety, he can call a glove change during the middle of a short ball. Mondo needs to get over it. He can, because he's strong-willed.
Mondo just needs to focus on this return of serve, hit the best return that he can hit, get himself back in the server's box where he's had a lot of success. Remember, he scored 10 straight points before that timeout, and there's no reason he can't do it again. He's got 5 more points to win this game. He's got to first get the side out, focus on a good return, make his shots.
I can tell you this: if you told Mondo that you're going to be tied 10-10 in the first game with Sean Lenning, will you take it? He would say yes. I think he would. I mean, you're only going to play the 5 points. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's courtside right now. Kara?
Yeah, I'm courtside with Marcus Chavez. So what are you seeing here as far as the whole kind of turn of events? Mondo had the lead. Lenning's coming back. What does Mondo need to do?
He can't get frustrated. Going into that serve where it was short and then it was a slide serve, he just needs to get that out of his mind and just refocus. For me, this is hard for me to watch. I've won the 3-wall and 4-wall nationals with Sean, and Mondo has been playing with me since he was 12, 13 years old. So there's no sides or favoritisms here for me. I just want them both to play really hard and bring a great match to the fans.
Hard for you to watch to see Mondo get frustrated, or hard for you to watch because you don't know, you don't have anyone who you want to win, so it's hard to cheer one way or the other? It's
hard for me to cheer for both. It's just too hard right now.
So you basically wanted to go to a tiebreaker.
I want it to go tiebreaker, and I want it to be 15-14.
Knowing Mondo really well, knowing easier said than done to not be frustrated, what do you know that he needs to do to get out of that mode?
He needs to settle down. I wanted to go tell him right now, you need to settle down. Just concentrate on returning the serve, because Sean has a phenomenal serve when it's hot. So he gets a little fiery, and he needs to calm down a little bit. So.
How much stress is there to be able to, during a side out, not give that side out to Sean, knowing how strong his serve is, that you might be sacrificing a few more points there if you do give him back the serve?
Well, Sean, like you said, he has that phenomenal serve, so he just needs to return them.
11 serves 10.
Just try to get the ball back somehow, one way or another, and then just see what happens from there. 1 point at a time. He can't get frustrated.
All right, thank you so much, Marcos. Yeah, back to you guys.
But he is frustrated, clearly frustrated, and he's still upset with the referee, and the referee did not do anything wrong.
Well, Mondo knows that now.
Side out.
And this will be Mondo's first serve since 5-10.
10 serves 12.
7 straight points. So it's been a game of runs, Dave. Mondo's going to hope that he can run the game out.
Jeez, Mondo hit that ball hard.
And this is just a different person since that glove change and short serve. Totally different player, Dave.
12 serves 10. Short. Second serve.
And another skip from Mondo. Sean Lenning up 13-10. Katrina Casey losing in the men's A-State Championship final to Jonathan Chavez, 15-14, 15-3.
Yeah, Jonathan Chavez, a very good player.
10.
Yeah, he actually is. Oh, ball just barely makes it over the line. See how Sean starts drifting back?
Yeah.
Smart.
Dave, we saw after the previous point, Mondo wanted to see the ball. He started throwing it around. Is that legal after you've lost a point?
Yeah, you can do it, but if you break
10.
it, you're not going to get the play over. And there it is. Sean Lenning takes game number 1 after a complete meltdown from Mondo Ortiz. He was up 10-5. Sean comes back with his own 10-point run to close it out.
Sean Lenning starts 5-0. Looks like he's in control. Mondo scores 10 straight points. He's up 10-5. Dave, it looks like the end of this game is just about a formality. Then Sean Lenning scores 10 straight points.
Yeah, it's just a game of runs. Yesterday, Sean said, get ready for a highlight reel that we're going to put on tomorrow. But it's been more of the highlight has been more of the streak reel. the streak of points. That's the highlight.
Yeah.
Here. And there's been some good play. I would say just what glares beyond the calls from the ref and those things, the glaring thing that I see is Sean's really hustling.
Well, you know, Sean is playing steady, Dave, and he's mentally very steady right now. And it's not something he's necessarily known for, but that's really what won him this first game, Dave, is the steady play. He withstood the Mondo run. He was down 10-5. He did use the timeout to his advantage, I think. He used the rules to his advantage. Mondo then kind of unraveled, and Sean was there to just continue to do what he needed to do, which was execute shots. He noticed that Mondo was overhitting, and he took advantage by making some great backwall kills. Also, as you know, always making great serves. And that was the difference. Not much of a difference between these two unless you look at the runs separately when it was Sean Lenning dominating, Mondo dominated, then Sean Lenning dominated.
Well, Sean Lenning's changing his shirt. Mondo's doing the very same, and he's just chirping here about that referee's call. And just to go back to what happened, it was a short ball, and it was two straight calls in a row where Sean Lenning was arguing that the ball was sliding, so the referee just decided after that short to go ahead and go onto the court and clean it up a little bit. And since it was a short, he continued after the timeout to say second serve, and that's what really put Mondo into the stratosphere in his thinking. But the reality is the referee had to do that out of player safety, and also the concern that the ball kept on going to that same spot. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's courtside right now. Kara?
I'm going to get some analyzation here from handball legend and coach Fred Lewis. Talk to me a little bit about what you saw happen. Mondo taking the lead there, Sean coming back really strong. What are you seeing here? What do you kind of think he's analyzing with it?
Well, it was definitely a game of momentum. You know, Sean started out 5-zip. He looked real strong, and then, Mondo picked it up. Mondo looked phenomenal there when I think he took a 9-5 lead where he was, shooting with both hands. Looks like he had, Sean very frustrated, but to Sean's credit, he came back, he started to hit some good serves, he made shots, and, he started, to play a lot more consistent. And, there were a couple of calls in there. There was one call, I think, that bothered Mondo where, they called it a slide, and then it was a short. I was a little confused as far as what happened there, but it definitely seemed to bother Mondo, and he didn't, right afterwards, he missed a couple of shots that, he was making earlier, so.
As a coach, what can you say to a player who gets frustrated? Because it kind of seems out of your hands at that point, but is there anything you could say or do to calm them down and get them back into the game?
Well, take a timeout, and, if you have any influence and if they're willing to listen, you got to tell them they got to just put everything behind them. And, you can't change what happened in the past, and if you dwell on it, it's definitely going to affect your game, and I think that's what happened a little bit to Mondo. It also happened to Sean because, there was a call where he hit a pass shot and the referee called a hinder. I thought it was a good pass shot, and that seemed to bother him, and so it works both ways. You just have to let it go and put it behind you and just keep your head in the game. Regardless of which, this is a phenomenal match. It's very enjoyable to watch both these guys because they both look very, very sharp today.
I know that you were at the Open watching many matches here as well. Any surprise to you that it's these two in the finals?
Well, not really. Mondo didn't play well against Brady, but then, he took over the doubles and he played phenomenal and seems to have carried over. Sean had a great tournament, took Brady to 3 games. And I know, he's been working real hard since then. They both, obviously, wanted it. And I think, you got the best 2 players in the finals.
Thank you so much, Fred. Back to you guys in the second game here.
Yep, thank you.
Dave, Sean Lenning tripping himself up there and recovering in time to hit a 38-foot rollout.
Oh, look at that shot, but it dipped in. Sean trips. He's one of the only people I've ever seen do this. He trips and then hits the best shot you've seen of the tournament.
1-0.
Wasn't a huge trip, but certainly that throws a lot of people off.
Dave, Sean has now scored 12 straight points, going back to that 10-5 deficit he faced before the
2-0.
controversy, if you want to call it that. It really wasn't a controversy, but in Mondo's eyes, it was a controversy.
Mondo still doesn't understand what happened, but you even see the spectators in the crowd, and a guy that knows as much handball as anybody on the planet still doesn't know what happened. Fred Lewis said that the play was different than it really was.
Remember, Sean Lenning started game number 1 up 5-0 before Mondo scored 10 straight, but you get the feeling that Mondo still hasn't recovered from what happened there. And that was just an unthinkable attempt there from Mondo Ortiz.
4-0. Point.
Now 5-0. This is exactly what
5-0.
happened the first game. 5-0 Lenning.
16 straight points now for Sean Lenning, dating back to 13 minutes ago. But at this point, Dave, it's more about what Sean Lenning's doing, because he's got a perfect serve going and he's following it up with a first strike fly kill in most cases. And whether Mondo is frustrated or not, I don't think it would make much of a difference in how this game has played out. Dave, this is almost like watching professional pool. When one guy gets up, he just runs the table, and then the other guy gets in and he runs the table, and you just kind of alternate. But
And all you're hoping for in those situations is just a micro fraction of a mistake.
Right.
And you're just waiting for that mistake. The mistake that happened in the first game was a loss of mental strength there from Mondo, who just didn't understand a rule, and it made him mad.
But really, technically, Mondo had a great look to win the 11th point. He came back in after that timeout. Sean hit a return serve that hit the front wall, back wall. Mondo had that set up from 15 feet, didn't put it away. Had another set up on the next shot, didn't put that away. Ends up losing the rally. Hasn't won a point since. So really, I point to that more than anything. Because if Mondo wins that point, he's forgotten about that second serve.
I just don't see how Mondo will ever score again in this match.
Well, he may not. I'm just saying that had he scored that 11th point,
7-0.
I think this would be behind him. Whether he would have won or not, I don't know. But
Check it.
But Sean's even more confident right now, and when he gets confident like this.
well, you remember against Emmett last night, he scored 22 out of 24 points at one point.
Yeah, finally that thing broke.
This is what Sean does. Even against Paul Brady, Dave, last week at the U.S. Open, 2 weeks ago, he dominated that first game. It looked like he was on his way to winning that match in 2 games.
You know, handball's in a really good place right now if you think about
It's the one you
how
warmed up with.
close that tier of players are that are knocking on Paul Brady's door.
Well, it
Not
seems like
close
they
to
are.
Paul Brady. I'm saying
Yeah.
how close though that tier of players are to each other, because I've never seen in any time the history of pro handball where there wasn't just a
serve 0.
flat-out dominant player. When Paul Brady leaves, there's going to be about 6 guys that are going to say, well, I'm going to be the next one.
Second serve.
Robbie McCarthy and Sean and Emmett and Luis and Mondo, you know, Killian and Darman and Martin,
That out.
guys like that. I mean, they're going to say, well, it's mine to take.
He's
That's-
Colin Crehan defeating Martin Mulkern's 11-10, a tiebreaker at the Golden Gloves,
0 serve
Dave.
7.
I know that surprises you.
Not really.
Short.
To me, that's a pick-em match, but Mondo Ortiz trying to get on the scoreboard
Second serve.
now after what seems like it's been an eternity.
Oh, wow.
Point.
Mondo's going to throw it up. You want me to
Mondo's-
throw it up?
Mondo's saying no donut. Where's his mind right now, Dave? He needs to be thinking about winning this second game, not
One
scoring
serve
1
7.
point.
Short.
And Dave, this ball does not seem nearly as lively as the one that just broke.
Second serve.
Notice it on the serves. And Dave, you know, playing a lot of handball, every ball is a little bit different. Some are livelier than others, and we'll see how this ball reacts to
7
Sean's serve.
1. Short.
You see, that's coming up 4 feet short.
Sean
Second
is not
serve.
upset with this ball because a different ref threw it in.
Point.
Now another point. 8-1.
8 serves 1. Point. Nine serves 1.
Wow.
Point.
That is incredible. And that's the same sort of serve that Mondo was giving Sean that Sean couldn't get back. It's really fast over there. It's not sliding, I don't think, but it certainly looks like a laser after it hits the ground.
10 serves 1.
And that was a mishit from Sean that worked out. Did you see sometimes in an NBA game a team may get frustrated over a call, but you still have a second quarter, third quarter.
11
But these matches are over so quickly, Dave, that one hiccup in your concentration and the match is over 10 minutes later.
He appeals a skid. You agree? You know skid?
It's an ironic game, isn't it? It's that same serve over there that Sean felt was a
I'm gonna
skid.
go with my line judge.
And no
Replay.
arguing at all from Sean here on that
11
replay.
serves 1.
Sean now showing the poise.
Short. Careful.
For some reason, there's just something over on that right side that these players don't like. And this is going to be replayed. Sean asking the referee, can I just have the towel, please? Now, they came in between games and they really mopped it down and brought the mop out, but it's just something going on over there. I think that's got these players really trying to clear it up. And it is kind of cold here overnight, and as it is in these winter times in Tucson, Arizona, where it gets down into the 40s and then daytime highs might be in the 90s or 80s, and that extreme
11
heat
serves
change
1.
has really, created some
Second serve.
humidity. I know that Mondo doesn't like the fact that there was a second serve and a towel being thrown on the floor.
Yeah.
But that's just what happened. You don't see Mondo getting upset here for some reason.
Hold it.
Ow.
Why is that?
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness, Dave. That was a crack-out rollout.
Well, let's just see it here.
Called a hinder.
11 serves 1.
Ugh.
But Dave, what's the difference between that towel coming in the middle of
Short.
that short ball with Sean? Mondo didn't say anything to
Second
the ref.
serve.
Yeah, it's...
It's the same scenario.
And Dave, Sean just had 2 calls go against him that were obvious and yet didn't argue. Last night he was arguing calls that were in his favor, seemingly.
Well, I think he knows his opponent is completely
serves
melted
1.
down here, 12 to
Okay.
1.
Short.
But I'm
Second
not sure, to be honest.
Sometimes, Dave, when you're playing a really top opponent, it relaxes you. You know that all you can do is focus on your shots, and you really don't have the energy to argue about anything. Goodness.
My gosh, Sean is really going all out here.
Wow.
That ball's perfectly hit, too. Now,
Well, Dave, remember, I wrote off Mondo in the doubles semifinals last week. He was down 10-1 in the second game, brought his team
12.
back to win the match. Now down 12-1, but remember, we're only playing to 15 here.
a lot of diving and sliding on that right side there. Dave, going back to that whole controversy, which is really not. Mondo was upset that the referee brought the towels down and started wiping off the floor after a first serve was called short.
Still there.
And then Sean just did the same thing. He asked for the towel after the ball was called short and got it. But Mondo said it was the first time he ever saw it happen. And then it happened within 13 points, 15 points. It happened again.
Yeah, this was an old trick my dad always used to do in his matches. He would call a timeout after his opponent served a short. They'd come back in.
Not
His
remember?
opponent forgot. Second serve, double fault. Next thing you know, his opponent was in the
One
parking
serve,
lot
12.
with his gloves on,
And nice.
driving out of the facility.
Sounds like you were your dad's opponent. That's a nice serve there from Mondo.
Well,
Maybe you learned from that doubles partner. Uh-oh, tough.
Slide. Slide.
Mondo now almost seems resigned
serve, 12.
to this match being over, unfortunately.
Sean Lenning said that was a spin, bro, to the referee.
Such a great return. This is a setup for Sean.
Isn't everything? Wow, tough ball to get over there. The ball hops up instead of coming down. Dave, can you prepare for that, knowing that it's going to be crazy? You have to just kind of aim up higher, right?
Yeah, well, Sean could have played this off the sidewall. I think he thought it was going to double bounce before the sidewall, but had he known it wasn't, he would have played it off the sidewall. Tough one to read, though, coming from that angle.
Slide.
And Dave, I was sitting courtside during the big ball doubles final. In the last 3 points, the ball slid on the left side wall. I thought maybe it was because the players weren't wearing gloves, but I think the wall is also wet over there.
Yeah, it's starting to warm up here. So there's a little bit of condensation and forming on the back.
2 serves 12.
In certain areas, it's odd to see it on the right side of the floor. That's more of the interior of the club toward the right.
Short.
I'd expect it on that left wall, of course, but not on the right side on the floor.
Second serve.
Wow.
Point.
Now it's Mondo Ortiz revving up the engine, playing some great handball here in the last 2 rallies.
Dave, what is it with you competitors that when you go down to one knee, you look at the ref, and if the towel isn't immediately thrown down, that you just get mad at the referee like he's a punching bag? What goes through your head when you say, come on?
It's just insanity when you're playing.
Right.
Your
3
mind
serves
shuts
12.
down. Any semblance of civility is gone.
Point.
But if you got pulled over by a police officer and you know that you were right, you don't go into a tirade, but to the referee,
Slide on the floor.
you'll say
I
anything.
didn't see one. You saw a slide? Slide.
And now it's hard to score a point because every ball is being replayed.
Now the players are chirping at each other here. That was a slide, I think.
Yeah.
I saw that ball just skip off the floor.
Don't like to see players going after line judges.
But to me, I look at it as if the ball is
You have a
sliding
new
and
ball?
the players have these wet shirts on. I mean, look at Mondo's shirt is sticking to his body. You have to call a towel timeout, and you have to get those shirts off. Mondo wants a new towel, but he needs a new shirt. Where do you think the water is coming from?
Well,
It's not coming from the
Getting new
towel.
towels.
No matter what shirt he puts on, it's going to be immediately that wet because his body's sweating.
Yeah, but it's completely wet. That means that he's dripping sweat all over the court here.
Replay.
No, the
3
bottom's
serves
not
12.
that wet of his shirt. The bottom 6 inches.
2 serves. 3-12.
Mondo, so funny.
Great shot.
Almost went up there from Sean Lenning, and it didn't, though. And Mondo's got his 4th point.
Beautiful punch fist kill from Mondo.
4 serves 12.
Oh, and Sean Lenning now seems to have lost some
Timeout.
MPHs.
Scores 5 serves 12.
Was a little off balance there. That ball checking up on the floor. Wasn't anticipating it.
It's kind of wet. They are kind of wettish.
So the guy that wins in 2 wins, and then they can play a Cuevas.
I don't know if Bell would want to go for that. I don't know if they lose. What, 1 serve? What is it for?
No, you.
Third, you win, you lose 2, you play the Cuevas, walk away winner. So the winner of the Cuevas would win maybe 75% of the 1,500, 25% of it. But you still win the tournament. Right. That's what we do when we lose 2 in a row. We play the Cuevas for the winner.
Mondo Ortiz now in the broadcast booth changing his shirt.
Why not? He's going to get some money. Right? Yeah. You put up $1,500, you get 25%. Playing fair home.
We'll take a break and we'll come back and
Let's see what happens. I mean, I guess we got to ask him.
after the match starts.
Mondo Ortiz going to a yellow jersey here that he won just a couple weeks ago, his first. He's going to try and get some power from that
Time in, Mondo.
coveted yellow jersey that he's been working towards for really his whole life.
Yeah, he said that was the most important day of his life there. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's courtside with Vic Perez. Kara?
I am courtside with Vic Perez here. He's been watching this match go on. You know these guys both very well. What needs to happen here for Mondo to come back?
5 serves.
Well, Mondo once said that when he gets mad, he plays better. So I think right now things are going his way. Just the way he's swinging at the ball, he's using his feet. He doesn't seem fatigued anymore. So I think he's just going to have to use that anger and turn it into something positive.
Is there a difference for Mondo between anger and frustration, and does either affect him one different than the other?
Yeah, there's definitely both. When he's frustrated, he tends to start skipping more. But as you can see, all the momentum's going his way right now. So, yeah, there's totally two different things. But right now, he's using that anger really well, and he's able to transform that stuff into something positive as he keeps on scoring points.
I saw you earlier this morning before this match, and you said that you're going to be driving back with Mondo afterwards. So I'm assuming that you want him to win, to have him be in a better mood there for that long car drive.
Yeah, well, Mondo said if he wins, he's going to buy dinner. So, yeah, I do. So, yes.
What will you be ordering if he's buying?
Probably the most expensive thing on the menu if he wins, but we'll see. Match is still not over.
Hopefully he's not listening and going to throw this thing now. I don't
Correct.
think that will make him do it, but you know.
Yeah, right. Okay.
All right, thank you,
7
Vic.
serves 12.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kara. Yeah, you know, we watch this rally
Slide.
here. Boy, that
Slid.
ball really slid. But we need to get tournament organizers in there with a dry mop and have them go in there and just really mop this down so we can finish this
7
match.
serves 12.
Because that right side is either there's something on that towel or just a lot of dives over there.
Shut out.
Sean just pokes that return 2 inches high. Not much power on it, but just out of Mondo's
12 serves
reach.
7.
And Dave, that's all it takes. Just that little reversal there, and Sean
13
Lenning's
serves
now
7.
back in control, just 2 points from winning this match.
Nice shot there from Mondo Ortiz. And you see that both of these players almost exclusively serving down that right wall because they know it's sliding over there?
Well, I think
7
it's
serves
both their
13.
best serves also. It's down the right.
It's a gentleman's game, but until you realize that the floor is wet, then it becomes not so much.
Well, I think, you know,
13
these guys serve
serves
80% of their serves to the right anyway.
Short.
The ball looked like it slid there on that little red line. But Dave, one of the tournament organizers
serve.
came to me and said, if Sean Lenning wins in 2, they would like to do the Cuevas tiebreaker.
Point.
And I don't know what you feel about if that's a novelty thing, but in honor of the memorial, Cuevas came up with if I lose in 2, we play a 3rd game, and that 3rd game is to determine the winner. And the match goes to Sean Lenning as he wins it here. And Mondo now, I think all the pressure's off him, and you'll see him not upset anymore. Sean Lenning wins the $5,000 in cash, and we're bringing up that Cuevas tiebreaker because the crowd has raised some cash, and it's a substantial amount of cash to say to the players, we want you not to leave yet. We want you to play a 3rd game. And that very well could happen, and it'll be dictated by the crowd. Now, I believe that's why you hear this chirping going on here. Mondo Ortiz might not be over with. This match might continue on a 3rd game. I know this is strange, and the winner of the 3rd game wins its own separate match. Now, Sean Lenning's won the championship. He gets the big, huge check.
Right.
But if Mondo Ortiz agrees to go in, he will be going in to win a substantial amount of money here.
And it looks like they are going to play
And they are going to do it. Let's go to Kara Mack right now, courtside, and find out. This has never really happened before, but I'll explain it later.
Yes, so I'm on the sidelines right now. Right after this match, there was some banging going on for its Cuevas tiebreaker. I don't know if you guys remember last night or yesterday when we were talking about the memorial and the Cuevas tiebreaker. I'm going to get this gentleman to talk about it. So tell me what happens with the Cuevas tiebreaker, what's going to go on here.
We had a man die this year, Al Cuevas. It was one of the most faithful handball players around here. If you ever had lost the first 2 games, you had to play the Cuevas tiebreaker. And whoever won that walks away a winner. He gets his beer bought for him. and it's his last game, so he's happy. So even though Sean won the first 2 games, Mondo can walk away with some money. He can walk away as winner, and we'll buy him the beer.
Are we doing this, Sean? Is beer on the line?
Yeah, Sean's all in for it. So there's $1,500 for the Cuevas tiebreaker, put up by Freddie Banfield and contributed by me, part by me.
Okay. Okay, Carrie, you got making sense of that?
I guess so. I don't know if it's really going to be happening here, but let's talk to Sean about winning this first of all, because he did take the first 2 games, so technically the title here. What does it feel like to have the weekend end like this?
Oh, perfect. I got so many of my friends here. Oh, sorry.
Like give another way, too. There you go.
Yeah, it feels great. I got a bunch of my friends here and a lot of support. The kids that I work with, you know, it's really special. And beating Mondo, who's great, is, you know, satisfying. I feel lucky.
This crowd really for you all weekend, having your mom here, I know, too, and everyone. I know you talked, it's been great. Yeah, I told her I wouldn't talk to her, even though I really wanted to. But to take this one, you were saying how great it was. Is really the most special one for you to win?
Yeah. Winning here is, I don't know, it just feels extra special. Like I'm in my element and I get to go home, sleep in my bed, come here, and it's like more of a recreational match, and I play better under those circumstances, so it's really nice.
Things got a little heated after your match last night. I know. What did you do to kind of relax? Because you came in here much more relaxed this morning after how that one ended. I know you had the win last night, so you weren't the one who was having some things going on. But to come in to actually relax and come in here and win this one, how important was that?
Yeah, I'm usually, like I spend my whole life trying to avoid high-pressure situations, and so I'm good at it. So I came in here with that mentality, and I forgot about yesterday. I don't really think about things that happened before too much.
I know you have a lot of respect for Mondo, as knowing he was your opponent today. A good thing. How does it feel? Even better to beat him, or how does that feel?
Oh, I was frightened, but that's good. Like you can't. Yeah, it's good to feel like anything can happen. So sometimes when you know you can beat someone, like you just take it easy and you don't do everything you can to win every rally. So with him, it's like you can't be passive or complacent. So
This was a rematch from the Players Championship. Did you learn anything from the Players Championship last Salt Lake City to come into this match?
Well, I just know when he's hot, it won't last forever. So as long as I keep digging balls and things like that, it's good. I'm in a little better shape than him right now, so that helps too.
So I guess I might be like a lot of people. Is this Cuevas thing really happening?
I'm strapped in.
Okay, I'll see if Mondo's out there and if it's really going to happen. I don't see him, but I'll toss it back to you, Dave. And Dave, we're going to see what's going to happen here. Is he coming out? You going to do this, Mondo?
Yeah, he's coming.
Are you ready for this, the Cuevas?
Hey, I'm kind of upset, losing those 2, but Sean's such a good player, such a smart player. He kept the pressure, so now we're going to see what's going on with this tiebreaker. And, thank you for the opportunity to bring a smile to my face. See how it goes.
Absolutely. That's why it's the memorial. All right, Dave and Dave.
Yeah, this is this is one of those moments where I'm not sure. And look at the crowd, Dave. If you don't think this is the right thing to do, look at this.
I didn't say it wasn't right.
This would be like, who's your favorite WWE standout right now? Give us a dream matchup.
Probably Brock Lesnar
and who else? Brock Lesnar versus Ronda Rousey?
No.
Okay, sorry.
Probably Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt.
Okay, so Bray Wyatt, he goes and does a flying double-handed
Sister Abigail.
Yeah,
after being F5'd.
Right. So let's imagine.
Yeah.
Let's imagine he actually he loses.
Okay.
And it was actually predetermined that he would win because it's all fake.
Yeah.
And then they said, the crowd's not going to go away until you get back in there and do another
round. Well, that
round.
happens a lot.
Okay.
Actually, so it's not unusual.
Well, that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
Now, handball will never, the sport of handball will never confuse you as much as it's going to right now.
I'm not confused at all.
Sean Lenning won this match, and he is the champion of the Memorial.
So
And
are we
his name-
broadcasting this
his-
match?
Yeah, we're broadcasting this. Now, Sean's name is going to go onto the trophy in the round of applause from the crowd here as Mondo Ortiz and Sean Lenning, in tribute to those that have fallen in our handball families, are going to step on the court and play a one-game match here to determine who is the Cuevas champion and of this Tucson Memorial of 2015. So this is a very strange twist here. I'm not quite sure where we're going to go with it or what we're going to do with it, but the Cuevas tiebreaker is going to be played live on ESPN, I guess. Not sure how many points they're being played to, but these players are absolutely going to play the Cuevas tiebreaker, and it's going to happen right now.
Cuevas tiebreaker.
And I don't think this is one where the players could at all for even a moment be upset with any calls that the referee makes. Dave, now, is this going to be competitive? I mean, it's for a big, huge chunk of money.
Yeah, I think it'll be very competitive. Is this 1 game to 15?
That's what I was saying. I don't know what it. I know that you're not at all engaged in this, but
Well, I don't understand how I became part of this. I mean, I'm just here.
Kara, let's go to Kara really quickly.
So this is something that we've never done before. It's the Cuevas tiebreaker. We talked a little bit about it, but I've got Jeff to kind of clear this up, clear the air about what's going to happen out here right now. We already know that Sean took the title for the Memorial, but this is the Cuevas tiebreaker, completely different. You have a hat full of money. I want to hear about it.
Well, the Cuevas tiebreaker, since this is Memorial, the Cuevas tiebreaker is 15.
They're going to play to 15.
15, is that right? 15?
Yes.
It sounds like we're making up rules as we go right here. Okay, they're playing to 15. You have a hat. So I'm going to show this hat right here.
We got about $2,000, of which is the split's going to be 75% to the winner and 25% to the loser. It's a tradition in Tucson to play the Cuevas tiebreaker. If you lose the first 2 games, you always play the third, the Cuevas. And these guys graciously decided that they would do that for this great crowd we have here today, so they're going to make a little extra cash and give us some more great handball.
Can you talk about the environment when that happened here? I know that we were on Dave and Dave, so no, we didn't quite see it, but how kind of the crowd just erupted to have these 2 guys do it as they accepted.
Oh, it's great. We're here to watch some more handball. We'd like to see a tiebreaker. Now we're going to get the Cuevas, so it's excellent.
Thank you so much, Jeff. All right, here we go.
Okay, thanks, Kara. Now it's 1 game to 15. Now remember all that chippiness and players being upset? Now it's all smiles again. I don't think.
Mondo serves.
And the referee's been
Score 0,
changed, by the
serving
way.
0.
You're going to see a shootout here.
I think you're going to see about exactly the same match that we
What?
saw
Five
before.
5-point run, 5-point run from the other player, 5-point run from
I
the
don't
other
think
player.
there's going to be any difference
Short
at all
ball.
in how these guys play.
The worst thing you can possibly do is give Sean Lenning a financial incentive, because as the opponent, you may never ever score again, knowing what Sean Lenning could possibly do to you.
1, serving 0. Oh, side out.
Pretty big payday here,
serves
Tucson,
1.
Arizona.
Short ball. Second serve.
Oh, Mondo goes for that right corner kill with the left hand. It would have been flat across the front if he would have made it.
Serving 0.
And we would have been tied. We're going to 15 here. This might be the first time in the history of handball that a player in a championship wins the match in 2 and is forced to play a tiebreaker. Wow, nice.
Side out.
Sean wasted an opportunity there after a good serve, didn't put that first strike away, gave Mondo the opening. And you see just a miss hit there, very unusual for Sean Lenning. I've seen him mishit less than 5 balls in the last 10 months.
Short ball.
How does a headline read if
Second
Sean Lenning
serve.
loses this? It'd be Lenning wins in 2, loses in breaker. How does that work?
Point.
Yeah, don't know if this one will make the boiler. This is an exhibition honoring the great Al
One
Cuevas.
serves 2.
Well,
Side out.
is this one of those asterisk stats?
Two
It'll
serves
go in the
one.
stats, but it is an
No.
exhibition? No?
Won't, no.
Ooh, so we're going to get chippy here.
Short ball.
No, we're not.
Second serve.
Wow. Such a great shot there from Sean Dave. I believe he developed that left hand in 2010 when he hurt his right shoulder, really couldn't swing for about 6 months. He was playing almost exclusively left-handed.
There it is.
Okay.
But what is
Side
Sean
out.
arguing
One.
about?
He thought that was a screen. Probably was.
Which one?
The very last shot that Sean missed. A great return there from Sean. Not a good shot, though.
Wow, look at that. Crowd likes that. Should be beating on the glass. Here in a second, they're going to get like that too. Sean was able to swing, but he missed underneath it, and there's the first point for Mondo Ortiz. There it is behind the back. Sean flips it up to the front wall, and then Mondo has that beautiful step. Sean trips and falls and then barely misses that ball. I want to say hello to Mondo Ortiz's father, who's watching back in Southern California. Your son made it to the finals, Mr. Ortiz. And, you know, he's winning and he's still playing and making some more cash. And so, of course, Mondo wants to thank you for the time you gave him off work. Not only making the family name a good name, but also bringing back some food to the tribe.
Need tournament desk.
Asking for another ball here. Tournament desk has to bring another ball. That one broke. You're watching the third game, the Al Cuevas tiebreaker. If you just tuned in, the reason why this is being played is because Al Cuevas, one of those handball family members who passed away recently, is part of our Tucson memorial, and he's been in our thoughts. But he used to play this tiebreaker where if he lost the first 2 games, they would play the third game anyway. And then if he won, he would say he won the match. So it was called the Cuevas tiebreaker. And Sean Lenning defeated Mondo Ortiz. His name will go on the trophy, but Mondo agreed to the Cuevas tiebreaker. And this tiebreaker brings with it $2,000 in cash. And Mondo said, yeah, what the heck? I'm going to drive home anyway. I have a chance to make some money. And this is actually being played just to honor Al Cuevas and those that have been part of our families, but then we lost them. So we're celebrating in our own little sort of historic way, the Tucson Memorial.
Okay, time in. It's 2 serving 3.
Oh, terrible,
Side
weird,
out.
bad bounce around the back revolving door. And there's a
3 serving
side
2.
out. 15-point game is what we're going up to. Crowd really quiet here, but they haven't had a lot to cheer about except for just one long rally.
4 serving 2.
And that behind the back shot from Sean Lenning, 4-2.
Point.
And Mondo needs to let the crowd have something to cheer for. They had this Cuevas tiebreaker because they
5
want
serving 2.
to beat on the back glass, and there really hasn't been that type of momentum here. Here it is.
Point.
Mondo skips that ball in.
6 serving 2.
Finally, Mondo hits a crack over there on the left wall.
It's 2 serving 6.
Oh, wow. Just a beautiful shot there from Sean. You know that's coming, and yet you still can't defend it.
So hard to do
6
that.
serving 2.
I think if you ask most pros, Dave, they'd tell you that's their favorite shot. Being able to fade away with their strong hand.
Oh, replay the ball. Hinder ball.
I guess so. Want to say hello to Rudy Cruz, who's traveling back to Southern California, watching this Watch ESPN app.
Hope he's not driving.
As a passenger in the car,
Okay.
ESPN 3. And that's what a lot of these players are doing now. They're putting it on their
2 serving 6.
iPhone or their Android device.
Point.
And there's a point there for Ortiz, hitting the crack deep.
It's 3 serving 6.
That's what I love about the Watch ESPN app.
Check it.
We had a doctor that was, and I can't say the name because I don't want the guy to lose his license, but he was doing open heart surgery, and they had an iPad up on a stand
3 serving 6.
while he was performing his. He said, "Hey, it calms me down." Watching handball. Both of these players, Dave, this has been a long tournament. They played multiple rounds, and they're still in there hitting this ball. All in honor of those that have fallen in our past that have played handball. Celebration of life.
Well, this is only their 9th game each in this event.
Yeah.
Well,
Second serve.
their first 3 rounds averaged just 28 minutes.
Point.
Well, I played 9 points the other day and couldn't walk again, literally. So
5 serving 6.
imagine 9 games, 9 matches. I mean,
Side out.
But Dave, I've played Sean Lenning in Cuevas tiebreakers, and no, there wasn't $2,000 on the line, but he wasn't
6
quite the
serving
same.
5.
So, you know, I know that you said he's motivated by the financial reward, but it's still hard to
Point.
gear yourself up for this when in the back of your mind you know that
7
you already won the
serving 5.
match. And in this case, the race title, the yellow jersey.
boy, Mondo just missed that shot. I like that big ball flop from Mondo, and then Sean misses it, and you don't think that he's motivated here? There we go. Mondo talking to himself just a little bit. Head bobbing, fist pumping.
5 serving 7.
Now it's 5-7, going to 15.
Point. 6 serving 7. Point.
Now we're all tied at 7. And a timeout being called by Sean Lenning. You're watching the Tucson Memorial, where a tradition is to play the Cuevas tiebreaker, and you're getting extra bonus coverage here as the tournament is over, but the players are continuing to play one last game in honor of those that have fallen. And earlier we were at the U.S. Open, and Tom Gilbert, who is such an intricate part of that Los Caballeros Sports Village and the tournament at the U.S. Open, and those that have worked with him at the Southern California Handball Organization, the Hall of Fame. There he is. There's that memorial courts that have been dedicated to Tom Gilbert at the U.S. Open in Fountain Valley, California. It's a great picture of those courts there. Here's Tom Gilbert. We, you know, of course, came encounter with Tom multiple times. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Great personality, too. He passed away earlier this year, and he is also part of this memorial here in Tucson, Arizona. Tom Gilbert, Al Cuevas, Dennis Healy. The names, they keep growing, but their memories don't leave us. And that's why we're given this one last final 15-point game between the two finalists, putting on an exhibition in honor of those names. Mondo Ortiz, now sponsored by the LAAC, that's the Los Angeles Athletic Club, and Owen Gloves.
Score 7 serving 7.
And we're all tied at 7. Dave, how does that battle of the border going with the juniors? Have you got an update on who's winning or won?
Yeah, the Fred Lewis Foundation has won for the 2nd time in 3 months, so they've captured the Battle of the Border Cup twice now in 2015. Some great matches today.
8, serving 7.
Team FLF winning 4 of the first 5 matches, so they clinched the cup there in the 5th match.
Side out. 7, serving 8.
Wow, it's an amazing shot. I thought Mondo had hit the perfect 2-wall pass there, and Sean Lenning, incredibly, Dave, what talent.
Oh, this is great. This is a highlight reel shot here. Sean Lenning just goes with this nice little paddle re-kill to the right side. And now 8
Call
to
the
8.
serve good. One agrees. Both agree. It's 9, serving 8.
It was appealed, but it's now 9 to 8. Going to 15.
No.
Boy, and this crowd is really packed back there. You really can't even walk out of the courts without running into
I saw a
somebody.
good ball on the sidewall. You saying there was a slide? See a slide?
I was here really late a couple nights ago, and the cleanup crew, you've never seen, well, you have, Dave, but most people have never seen the worst dirty looks walking into this club than I did when the cleanup crew was here.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me a compliment for a second.
No,
Okay, no.
no, I was
I'm glad
actually
you turned it around there. You flipped it perfectly. Yeah.
Well, even this late in the tournament, I still am bringing you real analysis.
Right. No, speaking of dirty looks, I do get a lot of those.
No, I'm just saying nobody but you would understand this.
Right.
I got the most dirty looks from the cleaning crew when they came in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I was standing there just printing at the printer, trying to get new scorecards for the next morning, new brackets. And
Time in. Score is 8, serving 9.
it wasn't a nice sight. This is about 12:30 in the morning.
Oh, replay the ball. It's a hinder ball.
Sean's not been quite as deadly with his front court kills in this Cuevas tiebreaker as he was earlier in the 2-game final.
Big setup here for Mondo. Goes down for it, gets it now. It's 9-9 again. We're all together. The Cuevas tiebreaker. Sean Lenning wins the trophy.
9.
He wins the cash. He gets his name on the perpetual, but it's not over with.
Side out.
You know, earlier we're talking about those that are out mobile. If you are on Twitter or Facebook or social network, get a hold of us and tell us where you're watching on the Watch ESPN app. I know that funny boy is with Sal Duenas, and they're driving back watching on their
It's 9, serving 9.
iPhone.
Short ball.
Sound like it broke, but that might have been the dead spot in the front wall there. Nope. Nice catch from the referee. At least we can say that. Some positive.
I need a can. I don't have any ball.
Oh, here we go again. This is exactly how Al Cuevas would have wanted it too. Couple broken balls. Dave, you knew Al Cuevas. He would sit in the front row of all of these tournaments, and I talked to him one day about you specifically, and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this guy Fink?" And he just shook his head. He goes, "Oh my gosh, he's an offensive weapon." But he said that while he was holding a cane up in my face, you know, like Mr. Magoo would.
Yeah. Offensive or offensive?
I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah.
He did slur his word there.
Mm-hmm.
I took it in the light that he was trying to say
Side out.
offensive, but he did have an accent.
9, serving 9.
Sean Lenning double faulting there, Dave. Mark that on your Cuevas scorecard.
Miss hit.
Bad bounce on the ceiling.
I don't know if that ball would have made it there.
I agree with you, Dave. That was my
9,
first
serving 9.
thought.
Point.
Ortiz gets to the 10th point.
10, serving 9.
Joho is watching at Firefighting Station 9's LAFD department, big screen TV. I think they have like a 70-inch. And look at that little roundhouse stiletto left front kill from Sean Lenning, down on one knee, which has become sort of his new trademark.
And Dave, did that make it? That was good?
Let's look at it one more time.
I didn't think it was good live, but, you know, Sean Lenning, I believe it skipped.
Let's look at it again here. I know they're not asking for video replay, but they could. Oh, it did skip, didn't it?
Yeah, well, do they know that it skipped?
Well,
it looks like Sean's heading to the back court. I don't see him doing that if, oh, they do know it skipped.
Time in. The score is 11, serving 9.
Oh, nice shot. Mondo gets the 12th point here.
It's 12, serving 9. Point.
Dave, you want to see Brock Lesnar in a WWE match, but would you rather see him do like a UFC match against him?
No, I don't watch that.
It's too real for you.
No.
And there's the 14th point, and now Cuevas is just sitting there
14, serving 9.
hoping this doesn't end.
Game point.
Look at the smile on Mondo Ortiz's face. He knows he's just a point away from winning, and it's pure cash too. I'm not sure what is going to happen after this, but I think Mondo will celebrate.
Oh, replay.
You don't think these guys are playing for something?
No, I do.
Mondo's yelling in there. Mondo wanted this really bad. There's nothing worse than having a referee call it, but Sean would have won the rally.
Well, I think Mondo would have hit a better shot. He held himself up a little bit when he heard
14,
the call.
serving 9.
Sean has no problem in the world of losing this right here. He was a good friend with Al Cuevas.
Short ball.
Al Cuevas idolized Sean Lenning.
Second serve.
Big setup back wall. This could be it. And he skips it in. Mondo really wanted that. Smile on the face. And the crowd, I thought, would be smacking the back wall. And let's see if Sean can pour it on here.
9, serving 14.
This is exactly the perfect ending for Marco Chavez, who said he was so nervous.
Replay the ball.
He said he was so nervous because both players are his best friend when he was being interviewed by Kara Mack. He said the best way this would end would be in a tiebreaker 15-14. But I think this is actually the best ending for those that are fans of both players if Mondo won.
Point.
This is not over yet, Dave. Mondo was tentative on that back wall shot at match point, didn't get his feet behind the ball, just tried to arm the ball in for the match. And now with Sean Lenning serving, and I don't know the Cuevas rules if it's win by 1 or 2.
That was never designed, was it?
Right out.
That's a good point. I don't think anybody knows. Let's go to the trophy and read the fine print.
Yeah.
Not the biggest question
14,
is
serving
this is what is going to happen every year?
I think this probably will become a tradition, yes. Now, what happens if the actual match goes to a tiebreaker?
Long.
Oh, it is won by 2. Okay.
That was 4 walls, which is still a short. But what if this match would have gone to an actual tiebreaker? Do you still then have a traditional Cuevas tiebreaker?
No, you don't. You wouldn't. It only happens. It was said to me, the first thing out of the mouth of the organizer from the tournament said, if Sean Lenning wins in 2. He said if Sean Lenning wins by 2. There's a lot of weird things going on here.
Mondo is having.
Yeah, this is a weird incident here.
Some health issues here.
Yeah, Mondo's saying that his heart is racing right now, which is what has kind of given him an affliction here.
And this could be an injury timeout, right, Dave?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Injury timeout.
Yeah, it's definitely an injury timeout. It's definitely so. Anyway, as we trying to explain what goes on here, and we're just kind of watching and listening to the players. They come off the court. Cuevas' tiebreaker here, and you're saying what happens if it actually went to a tiebreaker? Well, that wouldn't take effect. It wouldn't be allowed in future tournaments, Dave. But Sean Lenning was chirping to the referee that during the short call there, that Sean was saying, "Why are you allowing him to call a timeout?" Now Sean's going the other direction.
Mm-hmm.
So. It's kind of interesting. Sean, it is definitely an injury timeout happening right now with Mondo Ortiz.
So Mondo has up to 15 minutes. He's used just 2 of those so far.
We're going to stay here, and maybe Kara Mack could get some type of insight as into what's going on. And I can tell you a little bit more. I know you're listening in, Kara, but Mondo Ortiz had open heart surgery, and he felt his sternum kind of make a popping noise during one of the shots. It kind of separated, and he said his heart started fluttering. Now, even though it's a pre-existing injury, this could be a very new injury, and he's not a doctor, so he's going to just take a breather and let his heart calm down just a little bit because of that affliction that he's had with his heart. I'm not sure if you knew that, Kara, but I just thought I'd give you a little update because you're out in the gallery.
Yes, we're out here, so we don't really know what's going on, but it looks like it's somewhat of an injury timeout going on right now, Doug. I'm sure this does not happen all the time, but as far as rules for the Cuevas tiebreaker, anything in particular that might need to happen?
No, it's just like a regular tiebreaker. They play. Al Cuevas would want Mondo to win this game. He lost the first 2. He ought to win the third one. So he walks away happy, and that's exactly what Al Cuevas would want to do. And hopefully we can make this a thing for this memorial tournament from now on.
You have all been sitting in this front row with this memorial tournament going on. What does this mean to you to have it come down to this in the very end?
No, it's just very touching, and it's a nice tournament, and we lost some really great handball players and people, and I know they're watching.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
all right, they're back out there.
Here it is. We're going to 15. The winner wins the Al Cuevas trophy. There was an injury timeout there from Mondo Ortiz, who said that all of a sudden he just had to call it, and that was almost the end of the match there.
Just so hard to get that final point sometimes, Dave. Mondo with 4 setups that would have ended it in that rally.
10 serving 14. Point.
And Sean Lenning is not out of this match by any means.
One disagrees, one agrees it was a good serve. He agrees it was good.
And Dave, is there video replay in a Cuevas tiebreaker?
Of course.
Okay.
It's a point. It's a point.
It did look good.
11 serving 14.
It's 11 to 14 now with Sean serving.
Second serve. Point.
Mondo, once again, unable to put away 3 setups in that rally. You get a little bit of tension in those elbows. It's very hard to put the ball down.
It's 12, serving 14. Point.
Now 13-14.
We're winning by 2.
That's correct.
Win by 2. It's 13, serving 14. Check it.
Fortunate for Mondo, that would have been a big setup.
It's replay, 13, serving 14. Short. Second serve. It's 14.
Now, Dave, Sean Lenning from 14 to 9 down, with Mondo had 4 easy opportunities to end this match. It's now 14 all.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. It's like Cuevas is on the court right now. And is Mondo going to have one more chance to do it?
But you see how Mondo's just not putting the ball away.
Uh-oh, that ball's going to check up weird up in the front wall. Mondo's going to put it away right there. No, Sean's able to get a hand back on it. And now we're going to go into extra innings no matter what happens, meaning that
15.
This match is not over. Mondo, I think, thinks it is, but it's not, and we're going to go to 16 here because you have to win by 2.
Sean Lenning scoring 6 straight points here.
And Dave, you're going to have to go onto opentable.com and move your reservations at Fleming's. This could be it. And the crowd puts their hands together. Sean Lenning wins the Memorial Trophy and the Al Cuevas tiebreaker as Mondo slips down on one knee. Sean underhand paddles this. Mondo leaves the floor, and you see a smile on his face as well as we go right out to the court now with Kara Mack, who's courtside with both Sean Lenning and Mondo Ortiz.
I think you guys can see how much this meant to the crowd to finish it off this way. Congratulations on a whole entire great weekend.
Thank you. Thanks to Al Cuevas, of course, Freddie, all the sponsors, WPH.
Now, you didn't get to enjoy the hat that's full of money out there that all these men have put together for you, but just even for playing Mondo, you get $500. So I know that Vic Perez is riding home with you. I'm just telling you that he really wants a free meal.
I know, he really does, and they probably want to get out of here right now as we have a long drive to go. But thank you for all the sponsors. Thank you to the fans out there. You know, I appreciate it. And, you know, it wasn't for you guys, we don't have nothing like this. WPH, Dave Vincent, and all the other rest of the players. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. For heart.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. It was great.
Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Kara Mack. There it is, the presentation on the court between the two. The Cuevas tiebreaker ended exactly probably the way it should be scripted, 15-14, with Sean Lenning winning it, as we are being told that it's time to leave, time to say goodbye. The crowd here has been up, they've been sideways, they've been down, they've been to the left, to the right. It's been a lot of fun, crazy stuff going on here in Tucson, Arizona on ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. For Dave Fink, Linda Manning, Ben Manning, Chris Garrad, he's the guy behind all of the stuff that we see here on this live video feed. Lolita DeVincent, Kara Mack, Matt Titano, and all of those, like Linda Manning, who's working so hard to make this thing work. We want to say thank you for bringing this live action on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, ESPN3 and the Watch ESPN app. It's the Race for 8 Tour. We'll have more handball action in days to come. Go to WPHlive.tv to find out the schedule, or racefor8.com, and we'll see you then in New Orleans coming up in January. Until then, have a great day on ESPN3.